All right, cheers with your glass of Pimm's. The biggest tournament in the tennis world is underway right now, Wimbledon, and 5 Canadians are in the mix. So joining us now is co-host of the Match Point Canada podcast and friend of the show, Mike McIntyre. Mike, always great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. So let's do a recap of what happened on Canada Day. Denis Shapovalov versus Nicolas Jarry from Chile. What happened there?
Yeah, things are off to a good start for the Canadians. So it was a happy Canada Day in London for our tennis players. Denis Shapovalov, who you mentioned, who's made the semifinals at Wimbledon before, so possibly our best hope if you look at previous results. He got through the 19th seeded Nicolas Jarry in straight sets, and that's a big win for him to get things going against a top opponent. He's got a nice looking draw, to be honest with you, so I think Denis is probably feeling pretty good about his chances in the opening week, at least, to get through a few matches. And then on the women's side, we had Bianca Andreescu, who actually sung "O Canada" to the crowd after winning her match, which was really endearing. She got through in straight sets as well, which is great for her. Of course, Bianca missed about 10 months of action earlier in the year with a back injury. So just to see her out there on court again is fantastic. And, you know, I've said this to you guys before, but when Bianca Andreescu is healthy, she is a player that nobody's going to want to face in the draw. And she proved that yesterday with a really tidy opening round win.
Yeah, I love that tribute, and I love how passionate she is. I mean, when she scores a point, when her head's in the game and she's physically fine, she is definitely someone to watch for sure. Always a pleasure to see her in action. Also, another male Canadian tennis player, Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's playing this morning against Australian Thanasi Kokkinakis. Do you expect him to move on?
Yeah, hopefully Felix gets out there soon. They're a little bit rain delayed today, and of course they've only got 2 courts that are covered. But once action gets going, Felix is scheduled to play. He's up against a veteran opponent, but someone that he should beat. I mean, Felix is the number 17 seed, so you see that number next to his name, and it means he should be getting through to at least the 3rd round. I give him a fair chance in that one, but his draw is a tough one. He might face Alex de Minaur from Australia in the 3rd round. de Minaur made the finals of the National Bank Open here in Toronto last summer. So that's a top 10 opponent. But, you know, as they say, the cliche is right, one match at a time. And I think Felix looks good in his opener today.
Okay, that's at least a positive start on the men's and women's side. So Leila Annie Fernandez and Marina Stekusic, they're in action this morning. Do you think that we'll see her move on to round 2?
Yeah, well, both of those players are coming in with momentum. Leila Annie made a finals, her first grass court finals ever last week at Eastbourne. So she's coming in with tons of confidence. And Marina Stekusic, it's a great story. It's the first time she's qualified for a major tennis tournament. She's 19 years old, has lots of promise. And because she's come in with 3 qualifying wins under her belt, she also has some momentum and is a player that most of her opponents aren't familiar with because she's basically a rookie in the sport. So that could bode well for her as well, hopefully today, as she sets out on her Wimbledon journey.
I just really hope to see a Canadian in the final. I know that's wishful thinking. I mean, we saw them do so well in the French Open in the opening matches, and then it's like one by one, the Canadians leave. But, you know, at least they're in the game right now. So we'll be watching for that. Mike McIntyre, always a pleasure. We'll chat with you soon and enjoy your week. Take care.
Thanks, Jen. You too.